The world's biggest sporting event has suddenly become a political story, all thanks to Donald Trump. Trump confirmed today that he asked FIFA President Gianni Infantino to review the suspension of American star forward Folarin Balogun, who received a red card last week for tonight's World Cup knockout match against Belgium. And in an extraordinary move, FIFA did lift that suspension. Trump basically put it all out in the open this morning, admitting he involved himself in the decision. Watch.
I spoke to Johnny, who's highly respected, who's produced the most successful World Cup in history by, they say, 4 times. This isn't just a success. I actually said, Johnny, we've got all these games. Each one is turning out to be a Super Bowl. I saw the play, and I'm a person that loves sports and was a good athlete, and I understand sports really well, really well. And that wasn't a foul. That wasn't even an infraction. So, yes, I asked for a review by FIFA. I spoke to a man who's highly respected. If they wouldn't allow, a top player, maybe the best, maybe among the best players on the team to play, I think it would have had a big stain. And I related just that feel. I didn't tell him what to do. I can't tell him what to do, but and I don't believe he made the decision. I think it was a committee that made the decision, and they made the right decision.
The close relationship between Gianni Infantino and Trump has increasingly drawn scrutiny over the last year, with Infantino personally inventing a FIFA Peace Prize to bestow upon Trump at the same time that Trump was ordering lethal strikes in the Caribbean, and with FIFA opening an office inside Trump Tower in New York. This latest show, though, of preferential treatment is leaving many U.S. fans feeling conflicted about cheering on the return of their star player, and the rest of the soccer world left outraged. Belgium appealed the decision to allow Balogun to play this morning, hours before the high-stakes match is going to take place. But that appeal was denied this afternoon by FIFA. I want to bring in national sports columnist and professor of journalism at the University of Maryland, Kevin Blackistone. Also joining us, former Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy and Public Affairs during the Obama administration, political analyst Rick Stengel is here, and Eamon is still here at the table with me. Kevin, I'm going to start with you. Questions over this red card put aside for a second. Just how much has the political influence seen throughout this entire tournament been a stain on the World Cup?
Well, it's been a stain that's not going to go away. And if the U.S. is fortunate to beat Belgium this evening, it's going to be with an asterisk on that win, because that's what Donald Trump has done. He has stained this entire event. Look, I said before the World Cup came here, after it was certain to be here, after it started, I wrote it. This country with the Trump administration is unfit to host any global sporting event, given its unethical and immoral treatment of our foreign neighbors and citizens. And we've seen it play out throughout this entire World Cup, from a referee who was not allowed to do his job here because of his nationality, to the way the Iranian team has been treated as if they're some sort of terrorist cell. And now you have this. I said that, we often say that game respects game. Well, corruption respects corruption, too. And that's exactly what we've had here. And maybe the worst part of it is that this isn't a FIFA event that has been corrupted in the bidding process, which we hear so much about and have read so much about. But now the actual game itself, that is going to be played before tens of millions of people, has been corrupted. And maybe the outcome of that has been changed because of Donald Trump's desire to put his thumb on the outcome. That really hasn't happened before, but that has happened this time.
Eamon, I want to read for you. The FIFA president put out a statement today that some people thought was a little too late. FIFA's judicial bodies are independent, he said. They operate autonomously, apply the FIFA disciplinary code, and decide cases based on the applicable regulations and the specific facts before them. Their independence is essential to the credibility and integrity of football. your reaction here? I mean, look, I know that you're basically like MS Now's resident soccer expert. For any of our viewers who didn't already know that, Eamon is the person who explains everything that's going on in soccer to me. So, I mean, do you buy any of this?
It's nonsense. And the reason why it's nonsense, to Kevin's point, which I think is very important, is about how FIFA has conducted itself throughout this tournament. And the reason why that's important is because if FIFA was able to stand up and protect its own referee that was denied entry to the United States, if FIFA was able to stand up to Donald Trump and say, look, you're hosting this tournament, we would like for you to treat the Iranian team with the respect and dignity that athletes from around the world deserve. We would like for you to allow them to stay in this country. If they were able to at least express that, you would believe the statement from FIFA today that, hey, our bodies are independent and we don't cave to political pressure. But what we have seen from FIFA throughout this tournament, and what we've seen from Infantino particularly, is that he caves to Donald Trump's pressure. And because he has allowed Donald Trump and the United States in this current climate to do what it has been doing, he lacks the credibility to be able to stand up there and say that this was an independent decision. It's not just the lack of credibility that he brings to the table. It's the timing of how all of this played out. Referees make decisions all of the time. They get wrong decisions all of the time. That's not new to the sport of soccer. They've been trying to improve that. They've been trying to involve a review process with a virtual assistance referee. But this is not what that case is. What happened in that particular red card opened the door for Donald Trump to intervene, and intervene in such a vulgar way that he has now taken ownership of that intervention.
He really has.
He has taken ownership
posting on
of
Truth
it.
Social.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so the fact is that even if FIFA wanted to pretend that it is independent and did not succumb to that pressure, Donald Trump has come out and told us, no, he did intervene in that process. And I think even this statement that was put up by FIFA, in which the president of FIFA came out and said, I get called by world leaders all the time. I get calls from the head of corporations. I get called from the head of FAs. That, again, is part of the problem that a lot of people who have been raising questions about FIFA's conduct are worried about, is that FIFA is openly telling us that they are subject to this type of treatment and these types of interactions, that people are starting to lose confidence in the way they make decisions, whether it's about hydration breaks in the middle of the game, which never happened before the World Cup was brought to the United States, or whether for only the second time in the history of FIFA, reversing a red card decision.
Yeah, the last one was like in 1962,
correct,
I think. Yeah. Okay. Rick, I mean, has this whole World Cup, given everything that Kevin, that Eamon just spelled out there, has it basically become a metaphor for what's going on, not just here domestically, but across the world, for the way that Trump is operating and others around him respond to the pressure that he keeps applying?
Yes, Antonio, more than a metaphor. I guess the expression I've been thinking about is there's no honor among thieves, as both our guests suggested. I mean, FIFA is not a holier-than-thou organization. The former head of FIFA had to resign for corruption. It's a byword among organizations that is able to influence people. What Trump did is absolutely in character for him. But I would say Mr. Infantino is the real culprit, in the sense that I can try to bribe somebody around the corner, and if the person says, I don't accept bribes, get out of here, then that person is honorable. Trump tried to bribe him. He accepted the bribe. And it also does something terrible to something that we've talked about on the show for many times before, American soft power. The U.S. as the host of FIFA was meant to be like a great kind of milestone for American soft power around the world. And because of Trump's behavior, because of all the things that Eamon had said as well, it's become instead a byword for American corruption, for lack of American equality. And that's just a sad thing.